Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are now in Lecture 5, Database Development Lifecycle, Part 3. In this lesson, we will understand logical database design. Logical database design is the process of constructing a model of the data used in an enterprise based on specific data model, for example, relational data model, but independent of a particular DBMS and other physical considerations. The objective is to translate the conceptual data model into a logical data model and then to validate this data model to check that it is structurally correct using normalization and supports the required transaction. The first step is to create relations for the logical data model to represent the entities, relationships, and attributes that have been identified. The structures are strong entity types, weak entity types, one-to-many binary relationship types, one-to-one binary relationship types, one-to-one recursive relationship types, superclass or subclass relationship types, many-to-many binary relationship types, complex relationship types, and also multi-valued attributes. The next step is to validate the relations in the logical data model using normalization. The purpose of normalization is to ensure that the set of relations has a minimal and yet sufficient number of attributes necessary to support the data requirements of the enterprise. Also, the relation should have minimal data redundancy to avoid the problems of update anomalies. Step number 3 is to validate relations against user transactions. This is to ensure that the relations in the logical data model support the required transactions. Check that the relations created in the previous step also support these transactions and thereby ensure that no error has been introduced while creating the relations. Step number 4 is to check integrity constraints are represented in the logical data model. The constraints that we can check are required data, attribute domain constraint, multiplicity, entity integrity, referential integrity, and also the general constraints. Step number 5 is to review logical data model with the users to ensure that they consider the model to be a true representation of the data requirements of the enterprise. Step number 6 is optional step. It is to merge logical data models into a single global logical data model that represents all user views of a database. This step is only necessary for the design of a database with multiple user views. A local logical data model represents one or more but not all user views of a database, whereas global logical data model represents all user views of a database. That's all for now. See you again in the next part. Thank you.